So hello everyone, my name's Ashley Pila. I am the creator of One of a Kind Bridal Boutique. So I've read a little bit about your background, so just to give you an idea of who I am. My name's Ashley Pila, I'm a senior here, I'm a Paul College senior, and my major is business administration with a dual concentration in entrepreneurship and marketing. I will be graduating in December, and this coming fall I'll be headed to London to take some fashion courses over there. So how did I get started in this industry? I have always had a passion for the wedding industry. So about 5 years ago, I started serving in a wedding venue, and I quickly realized that the wedding dress was my favorite part. So I moved down about a mile down the road, and I'm now at a bridal shop in Bedford, New Hampshire. I've been there about 3 years. And as I've been there, I've done my internship for my entrepreneurship class. I was also able to get some background info on how to run a company and a bridal shop. And I also was invited to go to New York Bridal Fashion Week in New York City with my coworkers. And there we got to learn a little bit about the buying process and meet the designers and learn about all the contracted issues. So for now, I'm going to, well, as I've worked with about 100 million brides, I've worked with so many brides, and I've recognized that there's a clear gap in the industry, and it's particularly for millennials. So millennials are a lot different than other generations. Back in the past, you could have gotten married in any dress you wanted to, and it doesn't matter if it's the same dress as someone else. But these days, millennials really want to stand out, and they want to have that one-of-a-kind, unique dress, and they want to be very different. So as I've been working with these brides, I found a few problems. The first problem is that customized dresses are hard to find. So there's a ton of traditional bridal shops that will offer these high-end designers, but not a lot of them offer the customized option. So I have a lot of brides say to me, I like this top and I like this bottom. Can you find something like it? Well, why not be able to make it that way? There are some designers that are now offering this customized option, but it's not as prevalent as it should be, so that's one problem that I found. The next is that high-end designer dresses are expensive, and brides are looking to buy these at a fraction of the cost. So Vera Wang, you've probably heard of these high-end designer dresses at Kleinfeld's in New York, and they're $15,000. Well, these brides, even in New Hampshire, they want to wear these dresses, but they want it at a fraction of the cost. And this gives an opportunity for both brides who have worn these dresses to give them as consignment, and these brides to buy them at a fraction of the cost in this area. But they're really hard to find. Reusing and remaking older dresses into bridal gowns is rare. So this is where this whole idea stemmed. This was my desire. So as you can see, this dress right here, I'll face it towards you a little bit more, is my mom's dress, and my mom's in the back of the room. Is it gonna turn? She's in the back of the room, and that's her dress from the 80s. So clearly, I've always thought, I want to find a way to wear my mom's dress on my wedding day. But if I were to get in that dress right now, that would not be fashion trends of today. So then, as I thought even deeper, I'm like, well, how can I make a way to make that into my dress? And I thought even deeper, and then my entrepreneurial skills kicked in. I'm like, well, I should make this a business plan. I should make this a part of it. So that was the third problem. And then I created a solution, which I've called One of a Kind Bridal Boutique. This is a quick snippet from the video that I submitted for the Holloway competition, and I'll explain it after I show it to you.
I introduce to you One of a Kind Bridal Boutique. What sets us apart from anyone else is the ability to transform old dresses into new dresses. This is an example of how a popular style dress could be sold on consignment for a bride who's on a low budget and can get the dream dress she desires. One of a Kind carries custom designers for brides who want the new and high fashion dresses.
So I know that was pretty quick, so I'm going to explain it a little bit in more depth. So this first one is a picture of my mom's dress, and a dress that we have in our bridal salon that has a similar flair to it, has the same shape, same quality, same materials. So if I were to anticipate to change this dress into something, that's an example of what I would change it into. This next one is actually a high-end designer. So this one on the left is a sample dress that we have in our store, and the one on the right is actually my sister-in-law's dress. So she just got married this past June, and she now has the opportunity to sell this to another bride who doesn't have the budget to be able to get that dress, but really wants that dress. And then this last one is the custom designers I was telling you guys about. They offer the changes for different necklines and different bottoms, all of that good stuff. So really what One of a Kind is to offer all brides, whatever they're looking for, high budget, low budget, a place to come. Even though a bride has a low budget and wants to buy a dress on consignment, she shouldn't have to feel like she's going to a secondhand store. She should be able to come into one environment just like other brides and get the same bridal experience. So just imagine that you know someone who got married in the 80s and has a similar dress like this, okay? What did she do with her dress? Back in the day, it was very popular to preserve and keep dresses in boxes. So fast forward 30 years, my mom's had her dress in her closet for 30 years, and now I want to find a way to change it. So another bride, like you may know, she may be a millennial now, and she may want to wear her mom's dress or her grandmother's dress. So this is giving her an opportunity to really get that unique, one-of-a-kind dress. So just a little bit of the market analysis. How are we really different from anyone else? So this is straight from Google Maps. And what I did was I looked up bridal gowns in New Hampshire. And as you can see, is this a little pointer too? Yes. So this right here is Concord, and that's the capital, so clearly there's a lot over there. This is the border. There's some around the border, some around the seacoast, and then some in the Manchester area. People come from all around. We don't have sales tax. That's an amazing thing. And these two highways right here lead into, and then you can see there's a little gap right here. Is it gonna work? There we go. And that's Hooksett. That's my hometown. And that's where I'm hoping to open up my bridal store. So there's a gap right here. There's a 24-mile span between Concord and Manchester. The surrounding towns around Hooksett, like Bow, Dunbarton, Goffstown, they all use Hooksett as kind of like a shopping hub. So it's a little bit closer to them than Concord or Manchester. So it'd be a great opportunity to enter a bridal gown or a bridal store in Hooksett. The other thing is, what makes this different? So yes, these are all traditional bridal boutiques, and there is one consignment boutique here, but you don't see any ads or any alterations or dressmaker spots being advertised. So combining all these three concepts into one would be really nice. It's 20 minutes across the border, and it's right located in between Manchester and Hooksett, the two largest cities, and it also has two major highways run straight through it. It also has a very good, generally high median income, and it has a good population rate as well. So some financials. So the dark color is the sales, and the lighter color are the expenses. So as you can see, in the first year, we are going to break even. The expenses in the first year are generally going to be expensive or bigger than other expenses because of the startup costs. Now, I'll just explain to you the inventory aspect a little bit. So these expenses in the first year are mainly going to cover the inventory as well as the startup of the business. The way that bridal boutiques work is you order your bulk of inventory in the first year, and then you make contracts with designers. So those contracts may be buying twice a year or buying yearly and just updating whatever collections that they have. So every year your inventory isn't going to be higher than it normally was, or that it was in the first year. And then sales are predicted to exceed 1 million in year 4, which is also a great accomplishment. So what's next for me, and what's next for opening this bridal boutique? So as I said, I'm going to London in September, and I'm taking a few fashion courses over there, some design courses, working with some materials, also learning how to sew, hopefully. And then some startup funds. This is the most important part. As long as I have the money, I'll be able to open it. I'm hoping to do maybe a few more competitions like the Holloway. I'm hoping to start with the Holloway. And then get some investors. I'm also planning on taking out a small business loan and bootstrapping some of those activities. Finding seamstresses, this is probably going to be the toughest part. So these seamstresses and dressmakers, just statistically, are older women. Home ec isn't a class that's offered these days. So we really need to find these seamstresses, and they're not going to be on social media. They're not going to be on LinkedIn. These are personally people that you have to find. And I'm fortunate enough to be have experience with the seamstresses that we have at our bridal shop now, that they may know people. My mom's a sewer, so she may know people. Finding consigned dresses, this will be the easiest part. There's so many platforms of people posting dresses, how to sell. The problem is, brides don't buy dresses online. So I need to find a way to get these local dresses that are looking to be consigned and bring them into my store. The last one, market and attract clients, obviously the most important. There's 2 major platforms for bridal gown or for wedding planning. The Knot and Wedding Wire, I'm planning on making a debut through that, and then also with a website, social media, past brides that I've had using their dresses as consignment dresses and having them word of mouth. And then open up my store. And that's that. So now I can open up to questions. 10 minutes goes by quick.
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
customer comes in, and is this something that you expect them to come into the store with kind of a picture of, this is what I want, and then you try to match up based on the inventory, or is there some other way to kind of help guide them so that they end up with the dress they love?
Yeah, sure. So as of right now, my experience in the bridal shop that I'm at right now, a lot of brides will come in knowing what they want. They'll come in with pictures, from Pinterest or high designer dresses that they want to find kind of a lower budget that's similar to it. So that's where the inventory would come in for finding that. However, there are brides that come in that say they love a straight dress with lace, and they end up leaving with a poofy dress and not lace. So a lot of people know what they like, and a lot of people don't. It's all about, process of elimination, trying on some dresses and trying not. As for the remaking part of it, that is probably something that they would have to come in with some sort of dress that's sentimental to them, and then we would go with the design process, and I would probably sketch it out and make it for them. That's the remaking part of it, yeah.
Question for you. So, when you look at basically 3 categories of dresses,
Yep.
what's your experience on the breakdown of those 3 different categories? What's your expectations of what you sell? And then is there a margin difference, profitability difference on each
Sure.
of those 3?
Yeah, so as for the custom change dresses, those dresses you probably would make the highest margin on. No, actually remaking you make the highest margin on, because that's all service based. So that markup is going to be based on, the seamstress making her changes to that dress and her hourly, all that. Custom dresses are usually about marked up double, maybe even 3 times. At our store that we have, that's pretty much the markup for the dresses. We don't have any consigned dresses in our store, so I don't really know too much about the consignment, although I have had dresses, I have had clothes on consignment. Usually consignment stores go about like 20, 80, 40, 60. I'm thinking we would probably be somewhere about 40, 60. We would get 60% and they would get 40.
And then what do you think as far as revenue from those 3 different categories? What do you think's
Yep.
first, second, third?
So in my class last semester, I had an entrepreneurship class, and we actually made a financial breakdown of everything. So the custom changes after doing research and all that, custom is definitely the most favored for these brides, so that's definitely going to generate the most revenue. Also, the profit margin on that is the highest besides the other 2. So I would say out of all 3 concepts, the custom change is the most favored, and it would bring the most revenue.
So in a sentence, it
Yes.
can be a longer sentence,
Okay.
but in a sentence, you've got a bride in front of you that you just meet, maybe you're at a trade show,
Okay.
and she walks up to your booth, and there's all these other bridal, because you have all these, I know Manchester, they have a bridal show, or whatever, and you walk up, and she walks up to you, and she says to you, how are you different from all the other bridal shops here? How will you answer that?
Perfect. I'm on the look.
This was not planned, by the way. Obviously, it looks like it was.
So One of a Kind Bridal Boutique is a boutique where any bride, any budget, any size, any age can come in and she can get the bridal experience that she deserves and that she wants. Is probably what I would say.
Okay, and that's good, but I'm not sure that really blows me away and says you're different than anybody else, and you're probably going to work on that message. But all right, so that's your message. How do you get above the noise? I mean, the bridal industry, I heard somebody recently call it like the bridal industrial complex or something, like the military does, but the bridal,
Yeah.
it's a big business. How do you stand above everybody else and let them know you are different?
How are we different?
I mean, you have a plan for marketing. You've got a brand. You're gonna brand One of a Kind, which in itself
Yes.
says one of a kind, which means I am unique.
Right.
And I want you to understand how I am unique.
Yes.
And you've got to get that message out there. Otherwise, it's just more noise, right, to
Right.
a bride.
Right.
What are you going to do to rise above the noise and get them to say, yeah, this is where I want to go?
Well, what I plan to do to make this the most unique bridal shop in New Hampshire, and maybe expanding if it blows up and is great, but our uniqueness is the fact that we have the ability to take an older sentimental piece and transform it in the same environment that we have a new high-end designer that just got marked down because someone wore it and she's able to buy that dress, or a custom designed dress that she can change every single part of the dress and make it her dress. Custom. what she wants.
Okay,
That's
so,
what I
all
would probably
right,
say.
I get that. So now, your inventory that you mentioned earlier, how
Yeah.
you need, for the first year or so, you're gonna go out and you're gonna build your inventory.
Correct.
Because you wanna be able to pivot quickly. When someone comes in.
Exactly.
You wanna be able to respond, not have to go out and find it,
Yeah.
right? And you wanna give her a selection, all
Yeah.
right? What are you gonna pay typically for a used dress?
A used dress typically would probably be about $1,000. We would probably make about 600. And
All right,
the
so you're
person-
gonna pay $1,000 to the gal that's selling the dress to you?
No, so how the consignment aspect would work is that bride would come in, we'd probably charge her like $100 fee to get it clean, make sure everything is good, and to have it in our store for maybe about 6 months or a year, we can hold it for her, and that's inventory coming into us. We don't have to pay for that. And then once we do sell it, that's when the percentage markup will come into
So
play.
you don't have any real inventory costs?
Well, that's the consignment aspect. We don't have inventory costs for consignment. We do have the inventory costs for the custom dresses. So the custom designers will send us a standard dress, and they may even buy that standard quality dress, but they may want to make it a custom change by changing the neckline. That's where the inventory is coming in. I think I've estimated it to be about $50,000 for all my inventory. That includes, I think, 75 bridal gowns, 20 veils, shoes, headpieces, all that good stuff. So that's where the inventory is coming from, is the custom dresses.
Besides you paying your bills to live your life, and I
Yes.
presume that mom is gonna put you up for a while. You have a basement? So you've got 50 grand to get started with the materials. Eventually, you're gonna
Yeah.
need a building or an
Yeah.
office or a storefront where people can find you, because
Yes.
you need that. What other big costs do you have?
Well, I'm not planning on having too many employees because it will be based on appointments at first. Right now at the bridal store we work at, we don't require appointments, and I personally don't like that. It gets a little hectic with all these brides coming in, and it's not as personal when you want to have a one-on-one interaction with someone and you have 3 other brides at the same time. So I'm planning on just having a small amount of employees, so payroll and stuff like that will be pretty low. But as for the storefront, I've actually talked to the property manager at the place in Hooksett, and the rent is pretty good. It's about 2,500 square feet, so it'll be good to start. But then if we start expanding, I would love to get a bigger place.
Now, you may want to put that right next to Riley's, because the fiance, he can go in and buy guns.
Yeah, that's
Himself a new
great.
hunting rifle, and then she can be over there
It's
shopping.
actually about 3 minutes from Riley's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's right in the Granite
Gotcha.
Hill area.
Good location.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
I've got a question for you. So your seamstress is going to work for $15 an hour, roughly?
Yeah, probably about $18 an hour.
Okay, and so what are you going to charge the client for that time?
That's
Some markup involved there?
Yeah, that's going to be the largest. I've predicted that each remade quality gown will be about $2,600.
So it's not based on how many hours it takes the seamstress, it's just,
For now,
It's a good
what I've
price.
done is I've calculated just an estimate of how much these brides will be buying these custom-made dresses for, from my experience in the market of how much they're going to be paying. I mean, people in New Hampshire are not going to be paying $7,000 for a wedding dress. They're paying between $1,200 to $3,500. So for a custom gown where they got half the inventory, the seamstress has half the inventory already and half the materials, I've estimated that it would probably be about $2,500.
okay, so I just walked in, I'm the bride, and I walked in
Yeah.
my mom's dress, okay, and I want to spend an hour with you, and you're going to tell me what you can do to this dress to
Yes.
make it into something, and you're going to quote me a price?
Yes.
At what point is your meter going? Are you charging me just for that consult? I mean, I could walk right back out after you tell me all the great things you could do with it. So how do we-
We
how's
would
this
definitely
relationship
have
go?
some sort of, like sit-down fee, and then if they decide to continue with it, that would probably go towards the cost of their dress.
Okay.
But that consultation will be with me and them. I would sketch out the design with them, and maybe I could even work on it on my own, and then, the other idea that I had is if these people can't come to the store and they're somewhere far away, I could always FaceTime with them, design it by looking and having pictures and FaceTiming with the dresses and sketching it, and then from there, I would work with the seamstress, and the seamstress would do what she would have to. But yeah, I haven't really thought about the profit margin for that, for the seamstress.
Thanks.
Question.
Yeah.
So do you have a marketing plan in place, or in your head as far as how you're gonna, especially not being sort of a walk-in,
Right.
foot traffic? Are you planning on? Do you have a plan in place for how? to
Sure.
get people-
So actually, with my entrepreneurship internship last semester, I made a marketing plan for the business that I work at now. So I'm not saying I would copy it, but I probably would benchmark some of it. A lot of it is through the Knot and the Wedding Wire, these two wedding-based websites. They send out emails, they do all that stuff, and you have your own page on these websites. So that would definitely be a big part, because that is all over. They broadcast it to Boston, New York, everywhere. And then as well as having a website, a Facebook page, and then working with brides that I've had in the past to be potential clients. Also, I want to mention, a lot of people have said that divorce rates have gone up. But that's actually very good for me, because that means the potential for double marriages and triple marriages. So these brides that I've had before could potentially come back and buy another gown. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
You know, I've been dealing with wedding videographers in my business since 2000, and I can tell you a lot of them say, yeah, I've done the same bride 3 times,
Yeah,
you know.
it happens.
What do
I
you do
think
with
I've
the
had
first
one
video
bride
and the
that
second video?
I've had one bride that's come in twice so far, so we'll see.
Now, when you mention sketching, are you talking about kind of hand sketching, or
Yeah.
just being able to use, CAD or some other? Is there a way to kind of help that be more scalable, so
Right.
as you do grow, it's not just relying on your skill set?
I'm actually hoping to learn that over in London. I've never really had experience professionally with designing. I've done some sketches by my own, just on computer paper. But that's what I'm hoping to learn over in London. I'm sure they will have some sort of software that I can learn to use.
Yeah, I mean, it's
As
just,
of now.
my kids have apps that they can, try
Oh,
all
yeah.
these different things, do different haircuts, change everything.
I'm sure.
And it feels like that's something that could help with the scaling.
Yeah, I agree.
So in your spreadsheet, you had salary expenses of $142,000.
Yes.
Can you break that down as to how many people that is and,
Yeah.
and salary?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I calculated that to be me and my mom. My mom is a bookkeeper for her company now, so I'm going to steal her and take her to my place once I open. So it'd be me and my mom, and then I think I estimated it to be about 3 other girls about my age that, college students are great for this because they have a passion for it. They all some of them dream of their wedding, so they love working with these brides. I also have a lot of contacts from working with the girls that I work with now. So I calculated to about, 20 years old, 3 of them to be
So
working.
you're paying yourself a salary.
Yes,
How's
in
your
the
mom's
first year
salary?
I paid myself a low salary, and then I increased it as the years go on.
So, we were just told we have 3 minutes. So you work for Bridal Shop now. You
Yes.
cannot answer this question about where you work, but general knowledge, how many dresses a year does a typical bridal shop sell?
That's a great question. Okay, let me
And
do math.
here's why I'm asking the
Yeah.
question, because in your year 1, based on what I see, 280 custom order, 1260, et cetera, it's 352 dresses. That's basically selling a dress every single day. And assuming it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to really start to get a brand where people even know you exist.
Yes.
Okay. You're really pushing, almost 2 dresses a day in
Yep.
the second half of the year. And
Mhm.
I'm sure you've thought about all this stuff.
Yep.
How many dresses does a typical store sell?
So for now, I would say on a good Saturday, we would sell probably about 7 dresses on a
Can you
good
do
Saturday.
that alone? Can you do that alone?
Yeah, well, I would say about between 2 people. So on a typical Saturday, I probably sell about 2 dresses, and I work with 4 other girls.
Okay.
So if we do the math out there, if we were all doing 2 dresses a day, it would probably be about 8 dresses on a Saturday.
Yeah.
During a good day, during the week, probably about 2 dresses, or maybe 1 during the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's enough time in a year for you to sell 352 dresses in your
Oh,
first
yeah,
year?
yes, yeah.
You're confident.
I'm
And
confident.
you know what? That's the first thing you have to have before
Yes.
you even take a step forward, is you
Right.
have to believe that you can do it. Because your mom, she believes in you, she has for 22 or so years,
Yeah,
but the rest of it's up to you now. Her work is done.
oh yeah,
It's over.
I'm
It's
confident.
over. You know that.
Yeah, I'm 21 on Sunday, by the way.
Oh.
So just so everyone knows.
Well, 21, 22.
I'm a little bit curious about the placement of your shop here.
Okay,
Okay, because there's a reason all those other ones are in the city,
yep,
okay? And I have read enough articles of crazy people, crazy brides, and these basement giveaways that trample each other and everything.
oh yeah, oh
They're
yeah.
gonna drive more than 24 miles to find the right place to do this.
Exactly, yeah.
So, is that really the best place to open this?
I would prefer to open it there. I'm not opposed to moving to a more populated area, but the problem that you get when you start moving into these popular cities where there's already bridal gowns, you have contracts with these designers, and they usually don't let you sell the same designer as someone else within a certain miles. So maybe 25 miles, you can't sell that one designer. So now say Casablanca, my favorite designer, they offer custom changes, and we have that at the shop that I'm at now. If I was within 25 miles of them, I would not be able to sell it. So that's why Hooks It is kind of in between those two. So it gives me a little bit of leeway to be able to sell that maybe some of the stores on the seacoast are selling, or some of the stores down across the border. I also just like Hooks It in general because it's right in between those two. And I can track people when they're trying to go down Manchester from Concord.
Well, that's our time. Thank you very much.